Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. Deadly wildfires out west. 3 firefighters killed in Colorado and nearly 150 million Americans in the path of a triple-digit heat wave. Rob Marciano here tracking it all. Also developing tonight, a pilot with JetBlue says he collided with a drone near New York's JFK airport. The new audio tonight and what happened. And the search for survivors in Venezuela, even as more than 1,700 people are now confirmed dead, among them 3 Americans. The rescues continue tonight, 5 days after that powerful double earthquake, and what our team saw. And a string of alligator attacks in Central Florida, plus a deadly crocodile encounter in Mexico. What's behind the aggression? And the big hints that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce may really be getting married this week at New York's Madison Square Garden, what we've confirmed. And the good stuff, marking 250 years of American independence with a coast-to-coast journey for the American flag.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
Good evening. Wildfires in the American West turned deadly over the weekend, killing 3 elite federal firefighters. That as thousands of others deployed in response to nearly 100 fires burning at this hour. The largest one is in Utah, where the governor says the Cottonwood fire alone could be the most destructive in that state's history. In Colorado, meanwhile, fellow firefighters received the remains of those 3 colleagues killed in the western part of the state. CBS News correspondent Jonah Kaplan has made his way into the fire zone for us tonight with more. Jonah, good evening.
Tony, good evening. These fast-moving wildfires turning what should be a lush green mountainside into this charred black landscape. More than 270,000 acres have either burned or are on fire right now in the state of Utah. 270,000, that's a big number. What's it mean? We'll put it all together. You're talking about an area that's nearly twice the size of the city of Chicago.
Career firefighters called it a perfect firestorm. Roaring flames driven by high winds of up to 60 miles an hour and humidity as low as 5%. Extremely critical fire weather is how federal officials describe it, with high potential for new large fires, conditions that are extraordinarily rare for late June.
We expect that this fire season will get bigger. It will impact more people, and we'll have to have a greater draw on people and equipment to address the concerns.
Thousands of firefighters have been deployed here from across the country. Their service and sacrifice on display this weekend in a memorial procession for 3 firefighters killed near the Colorado-Utah state line. The fallen came from Arizona, Alabama, and Michigan. 2 others were injured.
Puts it into perspective what they go through every day and what they could face.
Terry Underwood knows the risks. Her husband Dan is a firefighter. Their home was threatened twice in the last week by 2 separate wildfires. Underwood credits her husband and his team for saving their daughter's home and neighborhood. He's now back on the front lines.
What did he tell you about what he saw and what he's been experiencing?
He told me that he's never been on a fire like that before. He said it was so loud, it sounded like a jet engine just roaring, and they saw the big flames coming.
Those firefighters died trying to make this a fire line that protects people and property, but they were killed by something called burnover. That means they were basically trapped. The other 2 firefighters who were injured, they're recuperating at a Denver hospital. It's a little cooler today, Tony, but it is still a state of emergency in the state of Utah, and Governor Cox banning all fireworks for this July 4th holiday week.
You can understand why. Jonah, thank you very much. In addition to the dangerous fire conditions in the West, meteorologist Rob Marciano is also tracking a heat wave that will hit nearly 150 million people in the East ahead of the 4th of July weekend. Rob, good evening.
Hey, Tony, and right into the 4th of July weekend as well. But we do have one more day of critical fire danger in the Intermountain West, with red flag warnings flying again tomorrow for dangerously low levels of humidity. Yes, it is a little bit cooler, but the wind's kicking up, and they'll get cooler and more still as this heat dome builds east of it. And that's going to be a top to bottom number. So we're really going to bake clear skies in most of these spots, and that sun, that strong late June sun, really going to work on things. So we have excessive heat warnings out for so many cities: Nashville, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Des Moines, you name it, all the way back through Chicago. Now Detroit's in the mix, and an extreme heat watch in effect for the Northeast cities, which mean they'll be in a warning here by the time Wednesday comes around, when temperatures will get up and over 100 degrees. With the humidity, we'll feel much more than that. But these red numbers are measured in the shade without humidity, 100 plus in Philly, D.C., and if we get to 100 here in the New York City area, that will be the first time since 2010. There will be some storms around the edge of this, but the big story will be the dangerous heat going into the holiday. Tony?
All right, Rob, thank you very much. We're launching a new series here tonight, something we're calling The Big Question. The first one, inspired by news of more than 1,000 heat-related deaths in Europe. The continent has more heat-related deaths per capita than anywhere else on the planet, but in fact, fewer hot days. So why is the heat in Europe so much deadlier than everywhere else? Here's Lee Canary with our big question.
In Europe, there's a perfect storm, the oldest population on any continent that's warming the fastest. France's record heat last week is linked to roughly 1,000 deaths of mostly elderly.
Of all climate-related impacts and hazards, heat is the biggest killer.
European officials are calling for change, but not the kind that may seem obvious.
Install air conditioning, especially for vulnerable people, and save lives. Why is that not a solution in Europe?
My honest response is I don't think that should be the solution anywhere. In the longer term, what happens is installing more air conditioning actually emits more heat into our environment, so it will actually increase the speed of warming.
It's also more expensive. Energy prices are much higher in Europe. Governments find other ways to cool historic and densely populated cities. In Rome, wearable technology is distributed to monitor the elderly, who are by far in the most danger.
A recent survey in France said 1 in 6 people they surveyed said they'd rather suffer for the sake of the environment. Does that surprise you?
No, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for the future generations.
Lee Canary, CBS News, London.
Back here at home, a JetBlue flight on final approach to New York's JFK Airport reported a mid-air collision with a drone. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve now with details.
Tonight, the FAA is investigating a potential drone strike over New York. JetBlue Flight 948 from Las Vegas was on final approach to New York's JFK Airport early this morning when pilots reported a close encounter with an apparent drone at 3,000 feet.
We collided with a drone back there in the turn.
You said you collided?
Yep, it hit us right above the cockpit.
The Airbus A321 landed without incident. JetBlue says a post-flight inspection found no signs of damage or any indication of a collision. The FAA is also investigating another drone incident at nearby Newark Airport Friday. A United Airlines 737 reported it was nearly hit by a drone while descending with 111 on board.
And we almost hit a drone right there at Gimme, United 1513, about 100 feet below us.
United 1513, did you get a look at it?
Yeah, it was like a circular shape, and that was about it. It looked like it was about 3 feet wide.
Drones are not supposed to fly near airports or above 400 feet.
But the FAA receives more than 100 reports a month of drones operating around airports. Tony, that's more than 3 every day.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We turn now to the earthquakes in Venezuela. The government now says more than 1,700 have died, with at least 3 Americans among them. A dozen additional Americans are still missing. But there are also hundreds of U.S. rescuers now on the ground, still searching for survivors with logistical and medical support from the U.S. military. More now from our reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez in the disaster zone.
Search and rescue operations are intensifying.
And if you want to come over here and...
Teams from 27 countries, including an American team from Fairfax, Virginia, are on the ground, digging through dozens of collapsed buildings.
Lay him back.
Hoping to find survivors of 2 deadly earthquakes that struck Venezuela 5 days ago.
We're doing 6 feet in here.
We followed members of Virginia Task Force 1 as they combed through the debris of this collapsed building. They heard potential tappings inside of this building in La Guaira. They say that is a potential sign of life at a time when the chances of finding survivors have sharply decreased. Our producer helped in the search by calling on people to tap 3 times if they heard us. But there was only silence.
No ratings.
Our potential victim could be falling asleep, going unconscious, in and out of consciousness. So we'll continue to stop, call all quiets, and try to get another seismic reading.
You got the tape reading?
More than 300 American rescuers are in Venezuela, searching for the tens of thousands still missing.
Support the feet and keep passing.
The U.S. teams have pulled 5 people out of the rubble alive, including this baby on Saturday. Out on the street, a man pleads with American rescuer Josh Morrison for help. He says his 22-year-old daughter and 13 others may still be trapped in a building.
When was the last time someone heard knocking? Yesterday night.
The man, Miguel Coelho, told us he believes some of them may still be alive.
We're going to go, I'm going to mark it, and I'll let them come. And I'll run it up to our recon team, and then we'll see what we have available. Excellent.
Rescue workers tell us that in this building behind us here in La Guaira, Venezuela, a security guard has been stuck for 5 days. They're now hoping to rescue him alive imminently. Tony?
Let's hope so. Camila, thank you very much. We got some big rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court today in what's expected to be a monumental final week of the term. For President Trump, the rulings today included a major win, but also 2 significant defeats. Here's our chief legal correspondent, Jan Crawford.
President Trump called it a big win, the court ruling in his favor that he did not have to show wrongdoing or cause before firing Democratic Federal Trade Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter for his own pick.
It gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency, a very important case.
In a 6-3 decision by Chief Justice John Roberts, the court said limits on a president's authority to remove commissioners violates the separation of powers. The decision could give Trump and subsequent presidents more control over some 24 executive agencies.
Obviously, I'm very disappointed.
Slaughter had challenged her dismissal.
What the Supreme Court has just done is transferred a massive amount of power from Congress to the executive to wield power without checks and without balances.
Notre Dame law professor Haley Proctor emphasized the rulings go beyond Trump.
When the American people elect someone with different priorities, they are also going to be able to carry out whatever mandate the American people give them.
But it will not impact the Federal Reserve Board. In a separate ruling, also by Roberts, the court said the Fed was structured differently. So Trump, in trying to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook for cause, alleged mortgage fraud, which she denies, must give her a chance to defend herself. The court also ruled that states can count late-arriving mail-in ballots postmarked by Election Day, something the Trump administration had opposed.
President Trump started the day with a loss. The court let stand a $5 million jury verdict that he sexually abused and defamed writer E. Jean Carroll. Now, the justices will be back on the bench tomorrow. It's the last day of the term, and big rulings on transgender sports and birthright citizenship. Tony?
Jan, we'll see you back here tomorrow as well. Thank you. To what could be the wedding of the summer now, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and a mystery tonight at the center of Manhattan. Are they getting married at Madison Square Garden, or is it all a diversion? Here's CBS News national correspondent Jerika Duncan.
There's a buzz of activity today swirling around New York's Madison Square Garden.
I guess Taylor Swift goes big.
The stage where Taylor Swift has electrified audiences at least 8 times could soon be shared with her fiancé, NFL tight end Travis Kelce.
Based on permits that we've seen, it looks like she's getting married July 3rd, and it does in fact look like it is MSG.
The iconic Midtown Arena has no scheduled events from today through July 6th. And we noticed this 18-wheeler with a sign marked Garden Party and workers loading material into the venue. Last summer, the powerhouse couple announced their engagement in a social media post. Now the main event could be days away.
We know that it is a big guest list.
How many people roughly?
We've been hearing that it could be 1,000 people.
And you don't have to be on the guest list to feel the excitement on the streets.
That's amazing. Good for her. I love that. That's incredible.
Rock on, Taylor. I love her.
It's a much anticipated wedding, a moment Taylor Swift has been singing about for a lifetime. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Thank you, Jerika. When we come back, after a number of alligator attacks in recent days, we look at what's behind the danger. We're back with more on an unusually high number of reptile attacks in recent days. 3 alligator attacks in Central Florida and a deadly crocodile attack in Mexico. The victim in one case just sitting on the beach at the time. What's behind it all? Here's CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides.
Somebody got bit by a gator.
Bad, real bad, please, hurry.
Need help now.
This panicked 911 call as a 31-year-old woman was being attacked by an alligator in Florida this past weekend, one of 3 incidents in just a week.
We picked her up. Okay, and how bad is the bite? Horrible.
She'd been swimming in a river when the gator attacked. The woman's boyfriend desperate to save her life.
She was bitten on both of her arms. The boyfriend was the one that made the phone call. He was trying to get her from the alligator's mouth.
It's one of 3 dangerous encounters with alligators in Central Florida in a week. On Saturday, a child was bitten on the hand while fishing by an 8-foot alligator in Amatilla. A snorkeler was also attacked earlier in the week. These incidents come as a 28-year-old tourist in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, was killed when he was pulled underwater by a crocodile on Friday. Chris Burry said he tried to help, but it was too late.
I threw the life preserver and he was in shock. Long story short, I hopped on the kayak. By the time I got to him, it drug him under, and then that was it. Like he was gone after that.
We're seeing these alligator attacks. What's happening?
The heat itself is an engine for them. The warmer it gets, the more active they get. So this is something that increases activity this time of year.
We're also on the tail end of alligator mating season. That's when males can be aggressive. Nesting season is next. That's when female gators can be protective about their nests. Signs such as this one warning about gator encounters are a common sight here in Florida. Tony?
All right, Christian, thank you. Still ahead, a scare for one of those internet famous eaglets. We'll show you what happened. To World Cup action now. The knockout round has begun and Brazil triumphed today in Houston. Gabriel Martinelli broke a tie against Japan in the 96th minute, sending Brazil on to the round of 16. Afterwards, Team Japan and its coach, ever gracious, bowed to their fans and thanked them. To the Eagles of Big Bear, California now, where one of the eaglets has left the nest, and not in the most graceful way. The streaming cam shows young Sandy knocked over by brother Luna, then getting stuck upside down for a while. But according to a conservation group that had another camera angle, she did eventually take her first flight. We wish her well. Coming up next, the good stuff and the step-by-step cross-country journey celebrating America's independence.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Fasenra. Visit us at fasenra.com.
We're back with the good stuff. 250 years ago, founding father John Adams predicted we'd celebrate American independence from one end of this continent to the other. And now a group called Relay for America is doing something very close to that, running from one end of the continent to the other in celebration of America and her 250th birthday. They started earlier this month in San Francisco, and they haven't stopped since. They run all day and night in every sort of weather, uphill and down, on quiet back roads and in front of cheering supporters. The goal is simple: to carry a single American flag, that one right there, from coast to coast, arriving in Washington, D.C. on July 4th, just in time for the fireworks. But of course, the meaning is much bigger than that. It started with Joe Nail, a 30-year-old Army National Guard officer, and his running buddy, 24-year-old Wyatt Moss, who've inspired more than 1,000 runners now to join them.
It's encouraging to me to see people show up from across state lines just to join this relay. There's really Americans out there who want to see a unification. They want to see Americans come together.
That's what this relay is all about, is giving people, it's not about politics, it's not about division, it's really simple, uniting Americans 1 mile at a time.
The point, they say, is not to pretend that America is perfect. It's to remember that America is a promise and a responsibility, and above all, like the flag in their relay, something that we all carry forward together. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. For all of us here at CBS News, thank you for watching. And please do join us on Saturday, the 4th of July, for our Great American Block Party, marking the country's 250th birthday with music and celebrations from Washington and all across America. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night.